Sunrise Extra on your Tuesday. Thank you for clicking. I was freezing cold in the studio, so I have my
terry
sweater,
cloth robe,
or could be inferred as a terry cloth robe.
Your little slippers.
It is. I wish I had slippers. I should get some slippers. Okay, today we are talking about, do you support paying people to get vaccinated for COVID-19. You've been hearing the headlines that we are not going to reach the promised herd immunity for the virus nationwide. A lot of the reason is because little kids, who make up a large percentage of the population, Pfizer just okayed 12 to 15-year-olds, but so far nothing for the little guys. And also now, with the news that the convention center is going to be closing its mass vaccine site in mid-June. The Clark County Event Center up in Ridgefield, they're going to be closing very soon as well because demand has dropped off so much. There's also a lot more places you can get a COVID shot at different pharmacies, and that is great. But now we are reaching those people who either are hesitant or are for sure not going to get the vaccine.
What's herd immunity, Nina? They're saying 70% roughly is what they want of the population.
Oh, it was like 70 to 80.
We can do a quick check on that, Rodney, for you.
Yeah,
that is correct.
So, do you support paying people to get vaccinated? There's also a little headline that goes along with this. You've heard of different companies like literally paying their employees as an incentive.
Right.
And Western Oregon University said it's requiring the vaccine when students come back in the fall. Same with U of O.
And Oregon State and Portland State and University of Portland. I mean, they're all getting on board now. But go ahead.
Those are the two new ones today. Western Oregon is going to give students a $25 credit to the campus bookstore if you got your shot.
I mean, that's basically getting paid $25 to get the shot, right? Which is better than no dollars to get the shot if you're a student, I'm sure. So that was the local headline to go along with the story. There was another an article in the New York Times, and we pulled a statistic from that article that said 34% of those who are unvaccinated right now say they would be more likely to get vaccinated if they received $100 for getting the shot. So that's what it would take for these people that were polled in this New York Times article who are unvaccinated right now, say they're not planning to get vaccinated, but they would change their tune if they were paid $100.
I mean, seriously, money talks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is a no-brainer. And it stuns me that when we pass this, couple $1 trillion package, that's a relief package out of Congress, that nobody thought of that.
I will tell you, if they do allow people to get paid $100, I will convenently lose my vaccination card and get back in line. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You'll be over-vaccinated.
Yes, I'm kidding, of course. But
topic, things you would do for $100. That's what we'll talk about.
Oh, I like that. Maybe that's the better topic.
And you can do that spin-off if you want to chime in on that. By all means, please. And Rodney will read your comments. But we're also hearing if you think it's time to pay people now to get vaccinated. If you think it shouldn't come to that at all. If you're against it, no matter how much you would be paid. Certainly, I would love to hear from those people too, right? If you're not going to get vaccinated, have no plans to. If you have your reasons why you don't want it, and it doesn't matter how much you would be paid to get it, let us know about it.
Ooh, Terry's on fire this morning. She says, I suppose if it comes down to that, but it really pains me that these selfish people are only going for the vaccine to get money out of it. No one cares about their neighbors and their family members. So yeah, she wants it to be a community thing, like we should be doing it for the greater good.
So what are the thoughts, you three? And nothing has come down yet, but now that public universities, public funded universities, including U of O, are saying we're going to require vaccinations, I'm wondering what the odds are if you think that by next August we're going to be requiring, at this point, down to 12-year-old students in our public school districts to be vaccinated. That to me,
and again, they have to be vaccinated for about 10 different vaccines for the younger kids. Colleges are only requiring measles and mumps, and then beyond that they can have their own requirement. But yeah, school age, up to 12th grade, so end of high school, have to have 10 vaccinated for 10 things.
If they just require that, doesn't that add a huge percentage right off the bat?
Right.
People that will be getting vaccinated?
Yeah, if it's available for, people younger than 12.
Or even down to 12.
Rod's saying, even if it's required, though, for middle and high school kids, if that's a requirement, that alone would probably get that number to where it needs to be.
It'll help.
Juana Williams says if people don't want the shot, money will not be an incentive. Most who have not gotten it are worried about long-term effects. Money won't matter, in her opinion.
We're hearing from Cancy Hess. Cancy says it's not a bad thing that our company Amazon is paying $80 for people to get fully vaccinated.
Oh, wow, okay.
But she says, I still chose not to get the shot, and a lot of us here actually have not taken them up on this $80 offer for a lot of our own personal reasons. So responding to some of our earlier viewers who were calling those people out this morning.
So Cancy, if you work for Fisher Investments, you get $1,000. Would that change your mind?
Yeah, I get Rod saying, Cancy, would you do it for $1,000 instead of just $80?
What's your price? I'm also curious about, your reasons. If you would like to share, I would love to hear. Let's see, Shireen says, working to convince my 18-year-old to get it, hoping his college requires it, so I don't have to keep the pressure on.
Just another, I'm reading some of these comments, right? And we'll share them all, as many as we can get to anyways, but it just reminds me of, like, here we are again, talking about a Sunrise Extra topic that is absolutely so divisive. From the
it's interesting. The pain part. I think the interesting part, is that pain. Our news partners over at Daily Blast Live, it's a show that airs at 11 o'clock here on KGW, they did this question yesterday, and in their poll it was about 70-30 no. People, they don't support people getting paid to be vaccinated.
70% of the people said they don't support it.
Correct.
I wonder why would you not support it? If it's not coming out of your pocket.
Right, and you know what, we
are the taxpayers. It is coming.
Yeah, but a lot of these are private companies.
Yeah, we're talking about private companies.
Oh, I thought if you...
The government's not doing it.
I'm sorry, earlier we were talking about the government.
Well, no, I said I'm surprised that it didn't make it into that massive, $1 trillion plus bill. Yeah. But these are private companies. They're employers paying their workers, or, like Nina mentioned, a college giving some incentive to the students, to like the bookstore credit.
And then, we've heard those, we've done those stories on, like, the state of Washington is looking at all entertainment and sport venues, creating a special section for vaccinated people, in which you could, sit next to each other. You would, I think you can take your mask off there. And I don't know, if it's literally a better seat than other areas or what, but special sections for vaccinated people, if that's also an incentive, or, freebies to get it.
Yeah.
Connie Staub Miller says, while I agree, gosh, sorry, the comments are coming in. I just lost it. While I agree, giving a carrot to get some vaccinated is probably necessary, I still hate that people that people are not doing it because it's the right thing to do. Those that refuse to get it, the carrots won't matter.
And we're hearing from a lot of those people, Paul Sims among them. You can't pay me enough to get the shot, Paul says. Melissa saying, don't let the government tell you that your life is worth a dollar amount. Jennifer Taft chimes in saying legislation needs to tighten up religious exemptions as well if mandated, because I was a center director for a child care center, and it's very easy to not have your child immunized even if they require it.
You just sign a paper. That's all. And you just have to have that paper in by a certain date, and that's it.
Yeah.
My sister's a nurse in New Jersey, and I was just talking to her over the weekend because we were celebrating Mother's Day and my birthday at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's actually National Nurses Week, right? So a double celebration for my sister. But she was one of the, I call her one of the early vaccinated, because she got both of her shots. I think she got Pfizer. She was wrapped up with those 2 shots by mid-February. Anyways, and she's never really, talked at length about why it's so important, or why she would or wouldn't get it, or I don't even know how she feels about her kids getting it. I think she's completely fine with it. But she was talking about friends of theirs on the street who told her they're not going to get it. And I was telling her how I just got my second shot and this and that. Anyway, she said her friends said they're not going to get it, and she said, I'm not going to twist their arm. I told them, oh, okay. And she said, sure enough, the husband, she said, Drew, this guy is so fit. I wish she was here to tell the story, because she's going to know it better than I do. But she said, Drew, this guy is so fit, watches what he eats, exercises every day. She goes, he's just like the poster boy for mid-40s fitness. And he got COVID a couple of weeks ago, and he ended up in the hospital and was there for 6 days. It really knocked this guy on his backside. And she said, I guess her point was telling me, you don't know who it's going to get and how badly they're going to get it. Just to her, to reiterate what she was saying to me earlier a few months ago is, you should get it.
Yeah. And I think, didn't we have a headline that the FDA is really inching closer on the full authorization instead of just the emergency use. Is that right?
We talked about that last week when we talked about kids getting getting into these, the priority status that we have now.
I wonder if that will help. I would imagine it would, because there are the group of people that are like, I don't like how fast this was, made. It was pushed through on emergency status. But now, when the full-fledged, FDA approval comes through, I would imagine that would,
maybe
make some people.
I think there's been so much misinformation up until this point. It's going to have a hard time undoing some of that. Nina, did you listen to the Daily podcast, New York Times, yesterday? They had a really interesting take from a doctor, I believe it was in Greenville, North Carolina, who is a pillar in his community, and he also got COVID and almost died. He was in the hospital for weeks, and now he's a good Baptist, and he said, I feel like God spared me for this reason, is to go around and talk to my community about why they should get vaccinated. But it's really an interesting take. I mean, people had all kinds of concerns, and he would sit with them one-on-one and just talk to them about them and talk to them about why those were incorrect. But misinformation, they worried about all kinds of things, including I feel like the government is trying to microchip me, which is completely false. But that kind of misinformation is out there.
But the thing about it is, as you say that, the person who believes that doesn't care that you just said the words, that is completely false. Like that doesn't, that doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying. At this point, it's been so polarized, and there's been such, an egregious amount of misinformation. It's going to be hard to walk it back for some people.
Well, and now, in my opinion, and I know others feel the same way, the messaging to those people who have been fully vaccinated just doesn't make logical sense to a lot of people. It just doesn't.
I lost you there.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, you've got the President of the United States telling, wearing mask in rooms where everybody has been fully vaccinated, with small groups of the media still wearing masks.
And I think that's an optics thing.
But my point is, that is a topic of conversation and confusion to many people I know, because if you see that, there are people, and I would be one of them actually. I've had my J&J shot, but either the vaccine works or it doesn't. So why are we still?
But look at Asia.
Why are vaccinated people still wearing masks with vaccinated people?
They literally went through this, years ago, and the first SARS round of the virus, and they still wear masks. I mean, that's something that has become in many places the norm.
Right.
And I think that's a visual message to not to the vaccinated folks, because they're already going to be, careful or whatever. But for Joe Biden to wear a mask, you were saying, in a room with other vaccinated people, or walking by himself outside to a podium or something. I know he's gotten, flack for that. And it's a visual reminder to the other subset of people who, are anti-mask or something like that. It's still good practice. And I think it's just an optics thing of I'm the leader, and I'm trying to set a good example of, what we should all collectively be doing for each other. And that's why.
Well, I'm just saying there is that percentage of people out there. They're like, well, if the vaccine isn't, I'm just saying, people are thinking this way. If the vaccine isn't good enough, I still have to wear my mask, and why would I go get it? I'm just saying, well, there's a lot of confusion on a lot of different fronts going through people's minds.
You're right, Rodney. You're right. I guess you can't, obviously you can't walk into the grocery store and know who else has been vaccinated. But in a setting like this.
That is the hard part, because people, this coming Monday, I'll be 2 weeks out of my full vaccination. We go to a little kids' soccer practice. It's outdoors at a park. I, move my little chair away while she's playing soccer. And then I take my mask down because I'm outside. I'm not standing near someone. I'm not talking to anybody. But I feel like I'm a bad guy doing that. You know what I mean? Because they don't know that I'm fully vaccinated, and you don't wear like a thing on your chest saying you are.
Right.
And so it is hard to know of do I just look like the jerk, or but I'm fine. I don't know. It is a hard thing.
But the majority of time, I think this is a correct statement. The majority of time, going back to day one, last March, whenever day one would be, the message from the CDC was if you were outside, not in close proximity to other people, that a mask wasn't needed.
Yeah.
So again, the confusion of this, I think, is not helping the solution.
I agree. I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, as we get more information, I mean, they make decisions based on the slow roll.
Right.
I mean, this is unprecedented, right? I mean, pretty much, at least in 100 years. I mean, in our lifetimes, it's unprecedented. And I know that there are people out there who really have been hard on the health officials, and maybe rightly so in some cases. But as I'm looking at these things unfolding, and it's like, yeah, you're kind of learning on the job like the rest of us. I'm giving them some leeway. You know, the fact that it blows me away that we literally, within a year-ish, are on this mass vaccination campaign, you know, and that so many people have been protected. I mean, I just think that is the way that we're going to get to the end of this.
Yeah.
Full stop.
And maybe this will work itself out, right? Because, I mean, I think time-wise, you could also make the argument we're just really a couple weeks removed from the big push of people that were very concerned for their own health.
True.
And we're willing to wait in big lines to go get it. We're just really a couple weeks past that. So maybe, you know, the things will turn, and maybe we'll get some surprising numbers that would be considered positive by many with the vaccination rates going up.
And then maybe you'll get $100. Who knows if you just wait it out a little bit.
Hey, Tracy Ellingby, Rod, I think to your point earlier that you were saying, and she's one of the people that you were probably thinking about when she says the president, when wearing a mask out in public like he still does, maybe walking to a podium, not surrounded by people. She says he should be doing the opposite, because then he would be showing that if you get the vaccine like he has, then you would be getting your life back. And that's what Rob was saying, right? People want that example right now.
Well, I know there are a lot of people
cases
that are saying that. That's a topic of conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
so
Brenda, I know
divided.
you need to get some work done early. Are we good? I don't have the feed pulled up, so I can't see it.
No, I mean, we're good with time, but I can tell you that this debate is not going to end anytime soon. I'm just reading through these. My goodness.
Well,
what
even
a polarizing
if we were on
year.
for another hour, we wouldn't
share
get to
some
all
of
of them. Yeah.
Share some of them? Okay.
Wipe the sweat
Ian
off
says
his
a free
face.
donut,
Isn't that
by
bad?
the way, to get vaccinated.
Free donut. Yeah, you get a free Krispy Kreme.
We have
right?
solved the problem.
Did you get yours, Rod?
That's
I'm
all
gonna
it
take your
takes for
vaccine
Mr.
card
Hill.
in to get some Krispy Kreme.
I'm trying to get some balance here. I would like to balance one side of the coin with the other. Can I find some balance on the Facebook live stream this morning?
What do you got?
I've got one.
All right.
William Trailer. You guys can find the counter argument here to William Trailer. William Trailer says, no, I'm not getting the shot. I'm not putting random stuff in my body to be a guinea pig.
And then Becca says, I'm so grateful for the vaccine.
Thank you.
Boom.
There you go.
Back and forth. But that is, you can't be more opposite than that.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, thanks to you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
It's nice.